We'll start with, we meet today on settled indigenous land, which is the traditional territory of the Shinnecock peoples of Wasco, Worcester, and Warm Springs and Grand Ronde tribes. Let us honor this land as traditional native stewards, past, present, and future, and strive today to embody a commitment to cultural equity, reconciliation, ecological conservation, and sustainability. In this spirit, I hereby call the budget hearing to order at 4:02 p.m. Tia, can you please take roll call?
Yeah, Greg, Chair.
Here.
Megan Ramey, Vice Chair.
Here.
Tamara, Secretary.
Here.
Megan Larrabee. Elazar. Gisela.
Here.
And Matt. And Matt.
Yep, right here.
Awesome. Thank you, Tia. Appreciate that. Do we have any public wishing to make comment? Now is your opportunity to do that.
There's no public remotely and none in the physically.
Okay. We'll move on to agenda item number 4, budget hearing. Amy, please go ahead.
Yes. I'm very excited for you all to see the budget that we have compiled for the fiscal year of 2025, which will start July 1st, 2024 and go through June 30th, 2025. June 30th, 2025. I've been looking at a lot of numbers today, so anyways, so the budget you have before you is the one that was approved by the budget committee. Since then, we have learned about a couple of changes that staff would recommend is made. Those being adding some funds. Sorry, I gotta find my here it is. My memo that Tia sent out to everybody. We recommend increasing the professional fees by $20,000 from $455,000 to $475,000, and this is for 2 reasons. It was missed that union negotiations is going to occur this next year we'll probably start around February. So with how much increase we've been seeing in professional fees with auditors and attorneys and all that, we are recommending adding a little bit more of a buffer because of the labor negotiations and the assumed extra cost with that. And then also, we have been working with our transit partners over the past couple of weeks, and it's become pretty clear that we need to move forward with splitting out the Hood River City route into 2 routes to make that more efficient and to line up with the other regional services. It still would be about a year to a year and a half out for implementation. But that being said, it would be important to make sure that we're taking all the steps to make sure that goes smoothly. And I think because of all the changes and some complicated street structures, I think it would be helpful to have a consultant just come in and help us with the finalization of that route, and then also the Upper Valley as well. And kind of just help us move forward and streamline the process. And that happened after the last one. So I'm sorry that is getting added. And then the second is staff was notified also after the last budget committee meeting that the taxi voucher program was determined in eligible use of the funds after it was awarded. And so the $40,000 expense and revenue that was previously included in the fiscal year 25 budget will be removed. So that means the state assistance revenue should be decreased from 40,000 from $2,550,000 that amount to roughly $2,510,000. And then the grant contract match funds expense should be decreased from $38,000 to $538,000 from $295,000 to $257,000.
You may have lost.
Oh, no. Are you all still there?
We're still here.
I'm here.
Yeah, we're still here.
Right, okay.
Does it not do that if it's plugged into power?
We'll probably still do it, just not quite as much. I just need to remember to do it. Sorry, our big screen went inactive. And it is back, and we're also gonna let Elazar in the room. There we go. Okay, so if the board approves these changes, there will be a decrease in available contingency funds from $421,659 to $399,659, because there's no revenue being added and actually be taken away. Tia, is there anything else you would like to add to that?
I don't think so. I think you covered it.
Okay. Any questions from the board members about those suggested changes?
Yeah, I do have a question. I
Yeah.
was wondering, do we know why the tax voucher program was determined ineligible?
It was because actually giving the taxis funds for it, the revenue piece of that was gosh, it was not something that was allowed, but it was the actual payment for those rides was the place that they seemed to be not okay with.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so that was the problem there. They did have a new grant cycle that we could have applied for. I just was not able to with my time, and I needed to prioritize some other projects. But I think for next year or a couple of years down the line, my suggestion is that we work with the city and do more of a don't drink and drive campaign. So more of a marketing awareness type of program and encourage people to use other transportation options.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Thank you.
Yeah, and that actually might be a great thing to work with maybe one community health on too.
Looking forward to it. Thanks.
Yeah. Board members that were part of the committee, is there anything else that you would like to highlight from the budget that you thought was important or things that you think the board should know? Since you were part of all the discussions.
Primarily just the money that we shifted around a little bit for project management help, which Tim, has he started in earnest yet, or is he taking some holiday before he starts his new job?
He's taking some holiday.
Okay, right.
Yes, so to make sure everybody is on the same loop, the board really pushed me to include some additional project management support in the budget, which I appreciate. So I really appreciate that.
Yes.
So what we thought would help in order to do that, but also be a fiscally responsible way of doing that would be to make our administrative assistant position into a project coordinator position, as our administrative assistant has all the skills that could help further us along, but we had not included him in some of those projects because it was not really within his scope. But because we've widened his scope a bit and added a little bit to his salary, I feel comfortable with having him work, do some of those things to help move those projects along. Okay.
So if there are no more comments to the budget, then entertain a motion to adjourn out of the budget hearing.
And I think, Greg, I might wait just a couple minutes, since on the agenda it does say until 4:15, just to make sure.
For the regular meeting?
Yeah, but also just to make sure no one shows up to submit public comment for the budget, but I guess we can also just allow them to speak during the regular meeting.
I think that's probably fine, instead of us just sitting here idle for 3 minutes.
All right, so let's go
Okay.
ahead and move on.
Anybody want to make that motion?
I move to adjourn the budget meeting.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Do we have a second?
A second.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Contrary minded? All right, chair votes aye. We're out of the budget hearing meeting. We are now going to move into our regular meeting.
All right, just make sure it's recorded. That was 4:13.
At 4:13, you also want to make mention, we did have Elazar join at 4:08, so I'm sure Tia, you got that in there as well, even though it didn't happen during roll call.
Yes. thank you.
Amy, is it possible to move agenda item 5 before we get into the meeting, just to the end of the meeting? Just flow wise?
Sorry, agenda wise.
That's executive session.
Yeah, so we can move it to the end of the meeting. The only thing is to make sure that Anne is able to stay until probably about 5 or 5:30. As she is our real estate agent, she just joined.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'd make more sense, right? If we moved it to the end, then that shouldn't change a thing.
Yep.
Okay.
Anne, is that okay? Are you able to stay a little later?
Yeah, I could stay a little later.
Thank you so much.
Oh, because we had another, sorry, we had another executive item session. We can keep it where it's at. Sorry, I thought we only had one, but into the agenda. All right, well, I don't believe I'll do the acknowledgement again, but I'd like to call the meeting to order at 4:15 PM. Tia, can you do roll call for our regular meeting?
Yes, we have Greg, Chair,
Here.
Megan Ramey, Vice Chair, Tamara, Secretary,
Here.
I'm
Megan
here.
Larrabee?
Sorry, this is Megan.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thanks, Megan. And Megan Larrabee, Elazar,
Here.
Gisela,
Here.
and Matt.
Here.
All right, thank you, Tia, appreciate that. Agenda item number 3, approval of our May 15th minutes. Board members, that's information was included in your packet. Are there any changes anybody would like to make? No changes or additions, okay. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I move to approve the minutes from the May 15th meeting.
Thank you, Matt. Do we have a second?
Second from Tamara.
All right, thank you, Tamara. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the May 15th minutes, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, chair votes aye. The minutes have passed. Again, we're open for public comment. I don't believe anybody's joined, but don't have multiple screens, so I can't tell. Amy, are we still without public?
We are still without public.
Okay. I guess we'll move in order of time, and we can go into executive session. So why don't we move into executive session, agenda item number 5.
Okay, and sorry, just a reminder, I actually do need you to
Sorry, I'll read all that out loud.
to ROS.
We are now moving into executive session for ORS 192.6602E to conduct deliberations with persons designated by governing body to negotiate for real property transactions, and ORS 192.6602I to review and evaluate employment-related performance of the chief executive officer and any public body, a public officer, employee, or staff member who does not request an open hearing.
And so I will ask Anne and Emily to stay within the executive session. And since no one else is here, I'll just ask Jeff to get out and I'll come get you in a
Okay.
second.
Bye.
And waiting room. All right.
Right. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah.
All right, we are out of executive session and now we're on to agenda item number 6, which is monthly financial review. Tia, go ahead, please.
I'm sorry, Greg, before we move on,
All right.
are there any motions to, can you please make a motion to come out of executive session? And then,
We did that already. Do we need to do that on video?
yes.
Sorry, I failed us. Sorry, guys.
Okay, I forgot to add.
Matt made the motion.
I move to exit executive session.
Thank you.
Then I second.
Yeah, okay. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye. We're out of exec session for the second time.
Sorry, thank
Does that
you.
mean we're back
Oh.
in executive session?
No, we're out. All right, Tia, will you go ahead with agenda item 6, our financial report, please?
Sorry, Greg,
All right.
Tia, I'm sorry. Greg,
Okay.
for the first piece,
Oh, I thought we had to do that at during the agenda where we have resolution and action items. Isn't that the correct place?
it's not technically on there. I think what we've done in the past is after we've come out of the executive session, the board has made a motion based on what was discussed in there.
Okay,
But typically, yes, if the resolution, if the action item were on the agenda, then we would just make it down there.
so Tamara, will you go ahead and make the recommendation we discussed in executive session?
Okay. So. I move
For the executive director to work with the executive committee
for the executive director to work with the executive committee
to move forward with acquiring land that meets district needs for an intended park
to move forward with
Land
land acquisition that meets the park and ride.
district needs for an
District
intended park and ride use.
Okay. Yeah. There we go.
Perfect.
I'll
So-
second.
Now.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, chair votes aye. You may move forward with that, Amy. Look forward to working with you on it.
Thank you.
Now, I'm not gonna say agenda item number 6 again until you say it's okay to move forward.
You can
I
move
failed
forward. I'm done,
twice.
I
Okay.
promise.
All right, Tia, can you take us through agenda item 6, please?
All right. So in your meeting materials, there's the financial data statement of activity provided to you guys to review. Did anybody have any questions on those materials? And an update that we wanted to give you guys is that the LGIP account is up and running and funds have been transferred over into that account. So we finally can close that chapter, and perfect timing with the end of the fiscal year approaching. So any questions on that? All right.
Okay,
That is all I have.
well, thank you for joining us on your vacation. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Okay, on to agenda item 7, resolution and action items. Approval of the stiff committee member application. Amy, go ahead, please.
Yes, so at the time of sending out the board meeting materials, I did not yet have an application. I now do. Kate Garrison from Providence Detman House has submitted her application. She is the coordinator that works with the residents there, which is a low-income senior community. And she is a very big advocate for disabled individuals and seniors. And she would love to be part of the STIF advisory committee and use her voice. So she says that her interest in goal for public transit in Hood River County is seniors, people with disabilities, and low-income families are who I am advocating for. I want to support the many ways that they can best use CAT affordably and efficiently for their daily lives. Anyways, so the staff recommendation is that the board approve her as the newest STIF advisory committee member.
Okay. So I need a motion.
What was her name again?
Kate Garrison.
Thank you.
I'd like to make the motion that we approve Kate Garrison for the STIF committee.
Thank you, Megan. Do we have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Giselle. Appreciate that. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, chair votes aye. She's on the STIF committee. Thank you very much. On to 7B, approval of a WashDOT grant application for the 25-27 biennium. Amy, please go ahead.
Yes, so I included a memo in your packet that staff is working on 2 applications going into the next biennium through WashDOT. One of them would be for a binge and white salmon weekend service. It would be different than our current one, because our current one is just for summer. And this one would be for every weekend going into the new biennium, which again will start July 1st, 2026. Nope, sorry, 2025.
How will the construction of the bridge affect that?
It would probably impact operations, and we would just have to add a lot of buffer time into the schedule.
And going over the bridge of God's over to.
It's absolutely needed, but probably,
That bridge is gonna stay there until the other one's complete, right?
yeah.
Okay.
But if there's any constructions, if they happen to close it down for the weekend, we would probably cancel the service.
Okay.
We are working with the City of Bingen and City of White Salmon on the match. Because it is a significant amount of a change from our current service, it would be eligible for the 5% match rate, which would be wonderful. I am working with them to finalize that. And we will not move forward with applying if partners are not able to commit to that entire amount. And so that application is due September 17th, as is the second one. But because we have so many other grant applications happening, I figured it would be best to get the approval and start moving on this sooner rather than later. The second is the Dog Mountain Seasonal Service. It would be the same service that we have been providing for the last 4 years. The only difference is that the Forest Service would like us to add 2 days to that. So operate either Thursday through Sunday or potentially Friday through Monday. That we don't have to make that decision right now, but the cost that I have identified would allow us to do that. So, sorry, the binge and white salmon weekend service, the total expected cost is $193,200. The expected match would be $9,660. For the Dog Mountain seasonal service, the total cost is expected to be roughly $200,000, and the expected match would be $20,000, which would come from the Forest Service, Community County, potentially, and the City of Stevenson as well. Staff will not move forward again with applying if partners are not able to commit that entire amount. I think that the likelihood of them, well, the Forest Service and then potentially the others being able to help us out with that is likely. Yeah. So go ahead and let me know if you would. Yep, sorry. Sorry, my brain is a little confuddled.
So we just need a motion, correct?
Yes.
I move to approve the presented applications.
Thank you, Tamara, appreciate it. Do we have a second?
A second.
I will second.
Thank you, Matt. Megan? Any further discussion on the grant applications? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Not hearing any, chair votes aye. 7B has been passed. We're on to 7C which is the adoption of the budget and approval of the tax rate. Amy, do you want me to read the whole resolution now before we ask for a motion or afterwards?
Well, I think in order to make it so you aren't reading two resolutions, I think the first question is if the board wants to approve the staff recommended changes. And if they do, then I would probably just do a quick motion just to make sure it's formalized for that. And then I would ask you to read the resolution that I sent you this afternoon with those updated.
Okay. Not the resolution that's in the packet.
Correct. I would do the email
Okay.
that I just sent you.
Let me pull that up. Okay, do we have a motion to accept the changes that staff had presented?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, chair votes aye. All right, that is passed. With the changes to the budget. Now I'll read the resolution, Amy.
Yes, please.
All right, perfect. All right, resolution number 6-20-2024. Resolution of adopting the budget. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Hood River County Transportation District hereby adopts the budget for fiscal year 2024 through 25 in a total of $7,893,900. This budget is now on file at 224 Wasco Loop in Hood River, Oregon. Resolution making appropriations, be it resolved that the amounts for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024, and for the purposes shown below are hereby appropriated. Administrative, $852,126, operating, 5.942,115 million, so 5,942,115,000, to say it in a better way. Contingency funds of 399,659. Total appropriations of all funds, 7.193,900. And then total unappropriated and reserve funds is 700,000. Total adopted budget, 7,893,900. Be it resolved that the following ad valorem property taxes are hereby imposed for the tax year 24-25 upon the assessed value of all taxable property within the district at the rate of 0.0723 per 1,000 of assessed value for permanent tax rate. Resolution categorizing the tax. Be it resolved that the taxes imposed are hereby categorized for the purpose of Articles 11, Section 11B as permanent tax rate .0723 for 1,000. All right,
And the above resolution statements were approved and declared.
the above resolution statements were approved and declared and adopted on this 20th day of June, 2024. Do I hear a motion to approve that?
Move to approve.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of adopting the budget and the resolutions and the tax rate, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye. That passes. Thank you very much, board. Appreciate all the work on the budget committee as well, for holding those meetings and making all that possible.
Thank you for joining, Emily. If you would like to hop off, you can do that.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Emily. Appreciate it.
Yeah, same goes for you as well, if you'd like to.
Thanks, Tia. Have a great
All right,
vacation.
thanks, guys. Bye.
Aye.
Okay, we're still, we still have 7D. Correct? The
Correct.
Greyhound fixed location. Amy, can you go ahead?
Yes, so I included a memo with your packet. I've been working with Greyhound Flix and ODOT to determine if co-locating the Greyhound Flix bus stop at TAP rather than downtown Hood River, which I currently is today. As well as selling Greyhound Flix tickets and creating a potential interline contract to see if those are all feasible options. The co-location, in order to stop here 2 times a day, Greyhound Flix would pay us about $350 a month. I think this could be a great option for creating more connections, but also allowing us to assist customers. Greyhound Flix does not have a presence here in Hood River, so it would allow us to address and help with issues sooner rather than later. Ticket sales, CAT would have the ability to sell Greyhound Flix tickets and earn an 8% commission. I heard this is a nominal fee from the link, who also is a co-location and receives a commission, but they feel that having those connections with their services is worth any small challenges that might come their way. Interlining. Creating an interlining contract would allow us to advertise CAT routes on Flixgate Greyhound platforms and reduce our match rate on 5311 projects. From what I'm hearing, this is probably not a feasible option because of some of the restrictions in order to do that. But I would like to continue to see it that can be an option because it would reduce our match rate, and that would be wonderful. Right now, our 5311 match rate is roughly 50%, and this would make it so it would only be 20%. So what I am asking is just kind of approval to continue down this route, since this isn't our typical type of contract. I just wanted to run it by you guys and make sure you agree with my logic, and approve me to look into these different options and signing the contract as appropriate.
Amy, if they by chance given you any kind of rough schedule of when the timing, does it line up with our existing service? I know Greyhound could have some late night and early morning drop off stuff when we might not be open.
Yeah, so we have, it's around 10 o'clock and 5 o'clock. Both times there are no other services that would be using our bus stop.
10 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Yes, so there would be no interactions with the other transit providers or our buses.
Okay, thank you.
Just potentially our city bus, yeah.
Thank you.
What is the traffic for them on their riders? What's the riders?
I think it's a couple people getting on and off. I think mostly they would be using our restroom.
Okay. And where are they going? what's their,
So they're either going to Portland or it's the line that continues on 94 that keeps going, so Pendleton.
Okay.
Hey, Amy, this is Megan. I didn't know that Greyhound bought Flixbus. But when did that happen?
Other way around, Flix bought Greyhound.
Okay, got it. That makes more sense. Flixbus is one of the few in America that are bike friendly, so I'm fully supportive of this.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Greyhound is not bike friendly, so that it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem like a great team. It's very complicated. It's very interesting.
What's the length of the agreement?
We haven't not yet discussed that yet, but my guess is we could do it for a year and we could extend it if everything is going well. And if not, then we can terminate at that time, and there would always be a termination clause.
Okay.
I would also probably, again, because this is something that's a little out of our typical scope of contract, I would send it to our lawyer as well, just for him to review it.
For sure. Okay, any other discussion on this or questions for staff?
Wait, I'm sorry, is there any cost to us, like if we're gonna be selling tickets? Or is that something that they will take care of and for $350 a month, they said that they're gonna pay us?
Yeah, $350 a month. Well, potentially, that is what I told them would be what we would need in order for us to move forward. There would not be any cost for us to sell. Like, we would not need any type of products or materials. We would just use an online portal to sell them to them.
And we get 8% commission off selling their tickets.
Correct. I think the biggest cost potentially is we are adding people who will be using our public restrooms. So any potential additional janitorial services we might need. But I think
Toiletries and cleaning.
yes.
Okay. Cool.
All right,
Yeah.
thanks for that question.
All
Okay, entertain a motion to approve Amy to move forward with this.
I'd like to make the motion that we move forward with the Greyhound Flixbus.
Thank you, Megan. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Elzar, thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, chair votes aye. Amy, you have permission to move forward. Thanks for bringing that opportunity to us.
Thank you.
We're on to agenda item number 8, which is the operations manager report. Jeff, please go ahead.
Cool. All right, so we got an overall safety score of 98, slightly lower than last month, but that's a slight increase in speeding, but still doing really good. It's 0.8% of moderate speeding, 0.03% of heavy speeding, 0.003% of severe speeding. Harsh events, there were 2. Cool. Operations data. Vehicle hours driven was 1,387. Vehicle miles 48,583. Fuel cost 16,700. Fuel cost per mile was 0.34 cents. Reported incidents. We had no formal customer complaints. Vehicle incidents was 4. Customer incidents was 5. No vandalism. Okay. The vehicle incidents, one of our buses hit a guardrail on the river bridge trying to avoid a mirror collision, and so they just bumped the guardrail. We had a windy day here. Blue dumpster, our dumpster in the back is usually chalked, and this day the garbage trucks came to take our trash, and I don't know if the chalks didn't get put back on, but the wind blew the dumpster into an employee's car. I believe that was handled with our insurance. Let's see, a bus window broke due to a minor collision with USPS. We reached out to USPS, and they did not take any further action. response, witness reported bus 197 driving erratically in Odell. Footage was reviewed by a supervisor and reported no issue with the driving. Customer incidents. Passenger wanted to get off the bus at an undesignated stop. The driver deemed the location not safe. A passenger blocked the bus with a vehicle so they would have time to look for a cell phone. They actually drove their vehicle in front of our bus, so we couldn't leave the bus stop. So they could get on the bus. Let's see. There's someone loitering in the CAT station lobby. Left their stuff here for a few days, and we're not catching a bus, so we just asked him the deadline, and so they needed to have their stuff out by a certain amount of time. They ended up complying. Passenger claimed that they had a gun, intent to use it. CAT lockdown to the scene cleared. Passenger was detained by police, which was actually a really cool event for us, for the way our sorry, I'm wording that funny. It's cool the way our team handled it. I thought was really cool. We've come up with a code for our drivers, and our driver actually used the code, and our dispatcher immediately called 911 before we even knew what happened, and our field supervisors were able to clear the entire scene. We were able to do a sweep of the building, and the police were able to show up, and just everybody in the office did a phenomenal job at handling what could have been, something really dangerous.
For reference, I was actually out of the office at a meeting, and I got a text, and then I called, and I was told about everything that happened, and I thought they did a really great job. They had taken the procedures that I had created with Jeff and Tia, and they had implemented them, and they did a wonderful job making sure everybody was safe.
Okay. Yeah, and then a passenger tried stealing our bathroom key, who happened to have a large knife. And our supervisor Thomas asked him to kindly return the key, and told him he couldn't afford with the knife, and the passenger told him that he wasn't planning on riding. Yeah, he returned the key and ended up leaving the property. Cool. Other updates.
So I think just in general, so everybody is aware, we are seeing the seasonal uptake in these type of events. This tends to happen every summer. Yeah, so just so you guys are aware.
What's their gun?
From my understanding, there was not a gun.
Yeah, no one ever saw one other than the police's guns, but that's it. Cool. New Samsara cameras. We are working on getting our buses set up with better camera systems, and we are currently testing 2 cameras from Samsara. They are pretty cool. We can get, so in an incident like the one described, if somebody called in and they were on the road, we can actually get live footage and see what's happening on the bus. These harsh events that we're logging will actually have photograph timestamps with them. They have AI, so if a driver was driving and picked up their phone, it would also send us a notification, as well as it actually warns the driver. It'll actually make a sound for the driver to know to stop doing that, or if they were dozing off or something. So yeah, we're checking out those cameras. We're pretty excited about them because our current cameras, we have to go out, pull SD cards, and we've had incidents where the camera might not have recorded, and the timestamps. It's a whole list of weird things happening where this is just we get to stream the we can just download it off the cloud. We don't have to actually go pull cameras, so it can be an incident can happen in Gateway. We don't have to wait for the bus to come all the way back to a river to research an incident. So yeah, we're pretty happy with that. Likely going to move forward with outfitting all of our buses with the Samsara cameras, which is well, we already use that program for tracking our buses, so kind of reduces the amount of software we're using as well. So yeah, pretty excited about that. See, new bus stops on July 1st. We are moving forward with the 5th and Cascade bus stop, the 11th and Pine, and the 8th and Cedar Crop. We are in the process of making the signs for them, and have added it to the city route schedule and printing new brochures for all of that. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
Nope. we have had some, so that the board is aware, we have had some community members who have discussed the Fifth and Cascade spot, but we are continuing to move forward as it was approved by the City of Hood River Public Works. And yeah, so we're continuing to move forward with all 3 stops.
Cool. Weekday route adjustments, we made some minor adjustments to our city route. We just switched the 10 o'clock and the 1 o'clock to 10:05 and 1:05 departures. It doesn't affect it doesn't push anything else out too late. That was so we could make better connections with white salmon. I don't know if I talked about this in the last board meeting, but we had there was a bunch of misconnects with the white salmon bus and our city service. And so we worked with Matt's to adjust some of their times and adjust some of our times to make less wait times and layovers. And that launched on Monday. And then we're gonna do the weekend white salmon launch, starts June 22nd, this weekend. We've made some new hires. That's pretty exciting stuff. We've hired 3 new fill-in drivers and 1 new full-time driver. So we were almost back to, pretty stoked on that. We're almost back to normal level of drivers, so we can support, people's time off when they need it, and reduced amount of overtime that we're having right now. Cool.
The mechanic RFP.
Yeah, we put out a RFP for a mechanic, and we did not get a ton of responses until today. This guy from Washougal reached out to us, who seems pretty promising. And yeah, we're in the process of reviewing that. We did extend the RFP till tomorrow. I don't think we're likely not going to see another RFP. I'll probably reach out. The other party that was interested was Stanton, but I've already reached out to them twice, so I'm not sure that they're going to make that deadline. Cool. Anything else in this?
Nope.
Cool.
Employee of the month?
Yeah. Employee of the month is Tim Ravens. Tim is our newest member to the office. He is gone above and beyond in helping us out, and has skills that we didn't realize he had when we hired him, that he's been applying to a lot of, he's actually helping out operations quite a bit with making signs and doing a lot of design work, and he's, backing up dispatch phones, pretty much anything he has time to do, he's helping us out with, and really excited to have him on the team. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
Cool. We're equipped with ridership. Just wanted to call out. We broke 10,000 for the first time, so that's pretty sweet for the month of May. A lot of that had to do with our Dog Mountain numbers, which were also pretty record breaking. There were days that we had over 700 riders. So like maybe think of the 4 days of Dog Mountain service might not be a bad idea, or even another bus on that route. We were pretty jam packed. Yeah, so and all of our big services, Columbia Gordon Express and city route, were also up in ridership. So yeah, pretty proud of how far we've come. Yep. Cool. I think I'm done now.
That's great.
Yep.
Thank you, Jeff. Much appreciated. Appreciate all the work there. All right, on to agenda item number 9, which is the executive director report. Amy, you want to give us an update?
Yeah, so just quickly, just want to make sure everybody was aware of the different grant applications that are coming up. So we have the washout ones, which we discussed. Those are all due September 17th. The ODOT discretionary grants. So that will be for the Columbia Gorge Express service, as well as I intend to apply for some other permanent signs, permanent poles. Those will be due, or they'll be, coming open for people to make submittals in, I believe, July, so the summer, next month or so. And then, but they close, a little bit later on. And then the STIF plan, well, I will be starting to work on that, meeting with the STIF advisory committee, and creating the plan for the fiscal year 25-27. So those are coming up. We haven't gotten a lot of information yet on any of those, the ODOT applications. So we're still waiting on that, and then you'll probably see more from me on those at the July.
Awesome.
Questions?
Thank you, Amy.
Yeah.
Any questions for Amy? All right. Any additional discussion items the board would like to talk about?
I have.
Go ahead, Cameron.
And I've been riding the bus and speaking, about how important the bus is. And I've had in the past week, two comments come to me about how hard it is to attend our meetings.
The board meetings?
The board meetings.
Okay.
I would like to put it out there. So one of them, I don't know if you know a woman by the name of Pamela. Okay. And then the other one was Peggy Lawler, who is a big advocate of sustainable practices and everything. But is this being more vocal and having more of a public Facebook meeting, have it on Facebook posting, being just a little more visible, that maybe posting on Facebook that we are having the meetings? It's sometimes people complain about it, but you give them what they want, then they just move on. And that's the only thing I wonder, because I am used to seeing, just having a chuck on Facebook saying, hey, we're having our meeting this date, public's welcome. Yeah, leave it at that.
Yeah, we can, I think we do that every once in a while, but we can make it a more consistent practice. It is on our website. But yeah, we can make sure we post that more often.
And one of the comments that came to me was, it's very hard to ride the bus to come to a board. That I don't know. So that's something I'm just going to share with you folks. Okay.
Thank you, Cameron. Appreciate that. Okay, any other discussion items? Perfect. Well, I think we're to the end of our meeting. If somebody'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Tamara. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Matt. Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, chair votes aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
I have a
Thank
question.
you.
Appreciate everybody's time.
Take care.
And then Amy, I'm just gonna call you.